I wanted to reiterate this point because I talked about this before the season started, and I still feel this way. There are only 2 positions in the starting 5 that I feel are in pen or should be in pen, and that's Zach LaVine and that's Kobe White. If you want to argue Vooch in there, great. You can put Vooch in there. I'm not tripping on that. But for me, like those other ones, I feel like they can still be moved and shifted. After what you watched Ayo Dosunmu do again tonight, from the moment he walked into the game, he changed the game. He changed everything. Everything became smoother on both ends of the floor.
Got to
he
take
immediately
away transition
impacted.
bucket.
Yes.
Beautiful little 2-man alley-oop action with Jalen Smith.
3-point shot right there as well.
3-point shot, cash.
Like immediately
So
impacted the game.
who do you take out then?
That's what I'm saying. Like you have so many options
To me, it's
to do,
Patrick
but
Williams.
nothing is in stone. Patrick Williams can go sit down too.
The guy who
You know
just
what I mean?
signed 5 years, $90
Yeah,
million.
it's not for me. It's
Grab
not in
the
stone.
bench.
It's not in stone. Will like Zach? Yes, he's got to play. Kobe? Yes, them 2 dudes got to play.
You obviously need a center out there.
You got to have Vooch out there. You
And
need a center.
To me, it's like there is no world in which Josh Giddey is not playing as a starter. I mean, they just traded what they traded for him. They're about to give him a big extension.
They traded their most valuable asset for him.
No, I understand.
He's their guy.
I get it. No, all of that business-wise makes sense. Basketball-wise, I ain't got to see more.
And
I got to see
the
it.
question is now, okay, you're gonna say Patrick, is Giddey a power forward?
Can
Like,
he be?
how do you do that?
Matas?
With Ayo playing
Give me
Ayo,
Matas.
Zach,
Torrey Craig.
Kobe, Giddey, and Vooch. That's very small.
Dude, there are many options. And again, if you were saying this like, okay, Pat is tall and big, but what did it affect? What does it affect out there?
I'm not saying you're
Giddey
wrong.
is tall
I'm
and
just
big.
saying that's
what
the
does it
reality.
affect out there defensively? I'm saying I ain't seen them guys got to earn it for me. Like I'm not giving you jack. Like I got to see you earn these things, man. After what I watched Ayo accomplish last year, telling me that he has to come in behind a guy who got benched last year. I understand you traded for him, and it makes all the sense in the world business-wise, and I'm not saying he can't earn it because he can. He is good. He can play. I get that. But I'm saying I'm not going to be so quick to do those things right now. I'm going to make you prove this on the floor. And I got to see it, man. Patrick has gotten himself to a position where he's got to prove it now. Where I'm like, well, dude, I'm not giving it to you no more because I got to see it now. I already Torrey Craig took it from you last time. What did you say, man? Just ran the gauntlet of names down.
Pick a name out of a hat.
Who just took your job
But
from you
here's
like
the thing.
that?
Here's the thing.
You got to earn it. It's not for me. It's not given for them guys. For those guys, it's got to be earned.
I agree with you in a situation where they're trying to remain competitive and win games and make the play-in.
Yeah, but you still want to put your best 5 out there. I don't care who it is, Will. Like, if it's the Wizards, you're putting your best 5 out there.
I know.
And I'm saying, what's your best 5?
I think I was in it, but I also just don't know. And that's why the situation is tricky. That's like what happens when you like sweep yourself into a corner, whatever, paint yourself into a corner, whatever the phrase is.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Because they can't bench Zach. They can't bench Kobe.
Right. They start. Yeah.
They need a center out there.
Got to play.
You just traded everything for Giddey, and you just gave Patrick a bag.
Yeah.
So, yeah, from a business standpoint, it's just tough. But from a playing standpoint, I think you can make a case he was their best player tonight.
Ayo ball, man.
He was great.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. He came in and immediately swung the game. They were down like 15.
Yeah.
Or they started 8-0, and Ayo came in and he lay up, run out, and then hit a 3.
Yeah.
And he's been talking about working on his pull-up 3. I think we talked about that the other day, just like his having that in his bag to be able to keep defenses accountable in terms of the way that they guard him, and not like when teams try to gap him so that he doesn't get into the paint because he's so fast. And now you take that away and he can just pull up. So when he adds that to his game, he's a handful.
Yeah, a true handful. And again, I'm not saying either one of those guys can't do this. I'm just like, you got to show me a little bit more before I'm just handing it to you. Like, oh yeah, you're the one. I'm picking you out. I got to see a little bit more, man. I want the proof. I want more proof. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, Billy, he's got his hands full.
I mean, what if it was just Zach?
That is the only starter you're saying?
No, that was on the bench.
He's
not part of the future anyway.
Ooh, that gets into accelerating the lots of people here are real uncomfortable and getting real cranky about a lot of different stuff real fast.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. And Zach's the best player on the team. Like, he just is.
I don't
so
think
that's part of it too.
I have no problem with Zach.
Like Zach, I think Zach has like met them halfway in terms of showing up, professionalism, not being a problem, buying in.
Zach's been great.
And then to go around and say, actually, you know what? Come off the bench. Like that just would be.
Dude,
Zach's been great, man.
I think that'd be one step too far. Zach would be like, "Are you kidding me?"
I completely
get what you're trying to do, but talent-wise, you really bring me off the bench?
Exactly.
And also, like, they're still trying to move him, right? And the way to do that is to
showcase
that he can play. What did you guys think about Zach today? I mean, to me, he had like that one corner step back when the offense broke down.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it. Like, I just didn't really see. He had didn't really feel him out there.
The 3-point shot also from the corner.
Yeah.
That he hit. But yeah, I felt him earlier on, but then as the game went on, it felt like he was just kind of laying back a little bit.
Another guy who came back from injury, hasn't played since January 18th. So working his way back, but
still looked aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a 60% Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I think he's still only 60% healthy. I'm just saying, like, it was first preseason game, first game for him in a long time.
Yeah.
He was just easing in.
Yeah.
What's funny though is like they always say that like the tear down is the easy part and like the hard part is building it back up, and it's like it would be so much how much easier would this be to solve the Ayo question if it was Zach who's the one they actually probably don't want around and they can't move.
Right. I understand. They're in a dilemma right now. They're in a dilemma. Billy Donovan is in a dilemma right now with who's got to play. We didn't even see Lonzo tonight. No. That's still an option. You know what I'm saying, for the squad out there.
You know, like Torrey Craig and Javon Carter, two vets who were DNPs tonight, were DNPs probably because they're two vets in the preseason game, and they're probably not going to be in Billy's rotation. If they are actually going to not jerk us around and play the young kids on this team, why risk the vets getting injured in a preseason game if they're not a big part of your future plans anyway?
Yeah.
Speaking of those kids, though, I mean, you talk about the decisions that Billy has to make this season. And you talk about, is this starting 5 that we saw tonight set in stone, written in pen, or is that erasable pen? Is that fake stone?
Yeah.
Because I was mostly just having fun with it. But if you were following along with our CHGO Bulls Twitter account tonight, A, thank you. B, I was having some fun with my love for Matas Buzelis and what we saw him do in that game.
Oh, deep love.
I went from saying Matas is winning Rookie of the Year this year to screw Rookie of the Year. Matas is winning MVP this year. To also, on top of that, with that last defensive stance he had, staying down on defense, out at the perimeter, contesting that great clean contest to force a difficult shot and a miss that the Cavs would have taken a 1-point lead with in the final seconds of that game. He's also winning DPOY this year. That's how I feel about watching Matas Buzelis play tonight. I'm looking for silver linings, Bulls Nation. Matas was my silver lining tonight. I want him playing all of the minutes for the rest of time. I don't necessarily think he will, especially out of the gate. But look, even if Billy and AK have been saying stuff in some of their interviews recently, yes, it's about youth movement and youth development, but not at the expense of integrity of the game, culture, insert meaningless adjective here. But Matas, I think, tonight showed that he can hold his own with NBA players.
Yeah.
It's not like, well, we got to play Matas because he's our young rookie and he's our first-round pick and we got to develop him. Like, no, you play Matas because he looked like one of the better players out on the floor tonight.
Yeah. He looked awesome. And don't let the numbers fool you, because some people can look and say, oh, he did that against, the second-tier guys. No, Matas was in there against their starters and against their players that usually play, and he still performed. He still held his own. And that's what I like so much about it, is he just didn't look lost at all out there on the floor. He looked like he belonged, whether it was against those guys with the Donovan Mitchells out there or whether it was against Ty Jerome and those guys out there. He looked like he belonged on both ends of the floor.
Who punked Patrick Williams, by the way.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But that block Matas had was awesome. That was amazing, man. That almost dunk that I almost kicked over my water on.
Dude,
almost lost my
Big Dave almost fell out of his chair, man.
I almost lost it. I almost lost it, dog. Like watching that. But Matas, dude, can hoop.
Would have come down.
Oh, man. But Matas can hoop, and he's not afraid out there. The alley-oop he had to Julian Phillips, you know what I'm saying? Always looking for the other guys out there. The last play of the game, the defensive stop. he had against Porter Jr., who said, I can ISO against this guy. You can tell Matas, like, for real? Word? All right. And he didn't even hit anything. It was an air ball out there. Matas just staying down, you know what I'm saying, on his defender. Yeah, man, he is skilled. He is really, really a skilled player. And I just feel he's just going to get better as it goes on. I agree with Stacey King when he talked about he thinks he could play him at the 3. He has the hands and the skill set to play that along with the 4 as well. But whatever role you have him in, he has got to get out there on the floor, Will.
Yeah, I thought the defense was the most impressive thing. You know, and I think we've watched enough of him scouting his G League tape and then in Summer League to know that, like, okay, there's obviously some interesting ball handling skills going on here. The outlines of, you know, a functional jump shot are there. The aggression, the driving, the dunking, the athleticism, all that stuff really pops. But to me, it was like a question of how can he keep himself on the floor in a season where, you know, the Bulls they have a lot of other guys that they need to get minutes to. So I thought the defense was really impressive. He got switched on to Donovan Mitchell twice and stayed down, did not bite on pump fakes, forced a pass out on one and air ball or a very short jumper on the other, switched on to Darius Garland, stopped him on a drive and blocked his shot. His ability to keep smaller guards in front of him is just, I mean, he's 6'10", and he's able to slide his feet and just use his length to get himself back into plays. So I was very impressed with that, and I think that's a way you can get him out there. I think, yeah, he's a versatile combo forward. I think you can play him at the 3 or the 4, but like, why not throw him at the 5 too? Like, he can block shots. You can switch 1 through 5. Like, he's not there yet physically. He needs to add a ton of weight, obviously, to play like real meaningful minutes there. But like Billy Donovan talked about it pregame, according to Chuck Swirsky and Joe Cowley, who were there tonight, about trying out Patrick at the 5 or going small. And he's mentioned that at practice or training camp over the course of the last week or so too, of just like, you know, Jalen Smith and Vooch are kind of our only 2 options out there. And, you know, I'm not convinced he sees Jalen Smith as like a full-time 5. So maybe they do try throwing some other options out there and going small. And then that's another way to insert some more guards in the lineup too, right? Like if you're looking for minutes for Ayo, you can play him and 2 other guards and then Matas and Pat at the 4-5. And you've got good rim protection. You've got switchability. I think that could be really interesting. The defensive rebounding is going to be a problem, but like, why not just like experiment with some stuff this year? Because who cares if you lose? Like, you're just trying to get to know what these players have in terms of potential. And I think the only way to really know that is to stretch them out and see what sticks, see what they're capable of doing.
That's it.
We all silly like the mayor.